in the OXO kitchen, and it is my honor to be here with Dorie Greenspan. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to be with you here. I want to move in here.
Yeah, I know. This kitchen is amazing.
Great, isn't it?
And we have the perfect book for cooking in this kitchen, your new book, Baking Chez Moi. Tell me a little bit about this book.
So I live part-time in Paris, and I have for it's almost 20 years now. And so at home in Paris, I'm baking all the time. I have friends who cook and bake, and so this book is, it's almost like my kitchen journal from Paris.
Yeah.
So it's filled with things that my friends make, that I make, that chefs make, that I've been able to kind of homeize.
Right.
And it's really, you know what's surprising? For all the years that I've lived in Paris, this book shows a part of French baking that I didn't even know existed. It's like a parallel universe to all the fancy stuff.
Right.
I think of it as comfort baking. And so this is really kind of like behind the kitchen door, what French people are really baking.
So tell me a little bit about what we're making today. You describe this in your book as your back pocket recipe, which I love because everybody needs that recipe where it's like people are coming over, but I want to look impressive.
Well, and it's the kind of recipe where you're going to have everything in the kitchen already, so you're not racing out. It's an apple cake with a very light custard. Custard, yeah, let's call it a custard.
Great.
And it's made without any machines, which I love. So you're really touching everything.
Right, so where do we begin? We
With
have
the
these
apples.
Beautiful apples.
So having said no machine, this is...
You do need a mandolin.
I think of it as a tool, not a machine. So the apples should be cut. You want them to be elegantly thin, but not so skinny that they flop all over the place.
Right.
So like this, you know, kind of about a 16th of an
have a little
inch.
bit of like weight to them
Yeah.
still.
So
And could you cut this yourself? Like
You
if you
could,
say I
yeah.
don't have a mandolin, but you have to be careful to get the right size and consistency.
So this recipe is so forgiving. So you could cut them by hand. If you didn't have apples, you had 2 apples in one pear, you could mix it up.
Right.
Even if you were to do this in small chunks, it's all okay.
So once you have the apples, this is you really got to go into it because you don't want them to get brown. You don't want to do this
Well,
early.
You know what? They can get brown. They're going to be covered with the filling. You have to believe me when I say this is easy.
All right.
And I've got flour, some baking powder, and some sea salt. So if you want to just whisk those together.
Perfect.
Okay, and I'm going to crack eggs. I've always cracked eggs like this. Clunk. Love that satisfying click.
Right.
And I put them in a separate bowl so I can
Make sure you don't have the shells.
yeah, just to see what's going on. Eggs, okay, sugar. Now, as soon as you put sugar onto eggs, you have to start whisking immediately. Sugar will cook the egg yolks. Just beat it up. Okay, done. Just when it first makes contact. And then we're adding vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract. Don't use anything but pure extract. Oh, I love the smell of the extract. And then some milk, some melted butter. You just mix. Now, dry ingredients with the baking powder and the salt that you put in. There's nothing but stirring. Here it is, right? Just mixed together. You know, it's almost like a crepe batter.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Right.
And it smells good.
The vanilla and the butter.
Yeah.
Okay, and now it's going to smell even better because in go the apples.
What do you prefer? Do you have a preference?
I like to bake with Fuji's.
And so this, we're really just coating the apples.
Exactly.
We're not like stirring it up and wrecking them and,
No.
you know.
So this, it's kind of messy, right? But you'll see when it's finished and we cut it, somehow, magically, in the oven, the apples seem to line up in like...
They kind of just like work together.
They work, and it's almost like they're like in some sort of military marching band.
All right.
Right? You want to put it into the pan?
Oh, yes,
so
please.
I've buttered the pan. In you go.
And so you just dump it in.
Dump it in. I mean, it really doesn't get easier than this. And what's great is you should wait for it to cool, but you don't have to.
Right.
You could just have a taste of it when it's warm. So that's it. We're ready
So
to go.
now, what kind of temperature, what do we need?
A 400-degree oven for, this is the hard part, about 40 to 50 minutes. So it really has to bake through. And what you're looking for, well, you'll see it when we look at the finished one, is you want golden brown. And baking, color equals flavor.
Right.
So wait for it to get brown.
Don't get impatient. If you're looking at it, it doesn't look quite done.
Give it another minute
Let
or
it
so.
sit.
Yeah.
We have our beautiful cake in front of us.
Can you smell it? Doesn't it smell great?
It really was as easy. I'm sort of shocked by how easy that was.
It's totally simple.
So we have one last
I'm
step.
going to give it one little coating of, you could, if you wanted to, melt some jam and put it over, but I just think it's pretty with.
That's perfect.
Isn't that nice?
Just dust it. And is it better warm, or can you make it and serve it cold? Room temperature.
Yeah, you can do anything you want. So good warm, good room temperature, and my husband likes it cold.
Thank you so much, and obviously if you want more easy recipes like this from Dorie's fantastic book, it's called Baking Chez Moi. Thank you so much, Dorie
Thank you.
Greenspan.
So much fun.